time, and I'm late today. I'm not going to be part of the Wilbur Sports pregame show because I'm going to be on the streets doing interviews. But I wanted to go live. If nobody watches this, I don't give a fuck. I just want to be able to put this out into the air before anything goes down. First and foremost, I'm trying to think what I'm gonna go with first and foremost. Actually, I have an actual first and foremost plan. But my first and foremost, I'm gonna say right now, obviously Jameson Williams played today. But beyond that, the Detroit Lions are gonna stomp an absolute mud hole in the ass of the Jacksonville Jaguars at home after a long break. You got that Thursday game they had on Thanksgiving, which essentially gave them somewhat of a bye week on Sunday. The Jags played Sunday. Not only did the Jags play Sunday, they played in a hell of a game where they had to exert all effort and energy to go out and win that one in the fourth quarter. Trevor Lawrence did play phenomenal in that game. Matter of fact, he had the number one QBR throughout the entire month of November. It's December now, though, guys. December starts with what? A D. D starts with Detroit Lions, all right? Illuminati. It all just makes sense. But we're going to whoop the living shit out of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes, my front camera's broken. Beyond that, though, look at this. Detroit Lions extra rest. With that extra rest, guess what happened this week? I mean, DeAndre Swift got a little bit healthier. All right. And I don't know if it's the same, but last night his over-under for rushing yards was 16 and a half. I'm sorry, actually, it might have been 19 and a half. But like DeAndre Swift, 19 and a half, like I'm gonna take the risk on it every single time. The guy's a threat to take it like a big play every time he touches the ball. It's the reality of the situation. And like Deuce Staley was talking this week, he feels the healthiest he's been, obviously since getting the shoulder and ankle injury. But beyond that, bro, the extra rest got us Josh Pascal back. We have Jerry Jacobs back. You say what you want. I don't think a lot of people are aware of like Jerry Jacobs yet. Like he's nice. Dude is nice. Matter of fact, he was nice last year, but sometimes you get those situations where you're like, is this guy like really nice? He's like Lions nice. Like I'm looking for something to be nice because his team's so fucking pathetic to watch. Sorry for swearing if there's any kids. Jerry Jacobs, the real deal. The seatbelt gang, I'm all about it. I'm all for it. If I should do this on Twitter too, by the way, guys, please let me know if I should switch this to Twitter Spaces because I am driving downtown. Um, Jerry Jacobs is nice. Obviously, by now, you guys should assume that Jeff Okuda is going to be nice too. He's back from his concussion. There was no like ankle ailments or anything like that. It was seriously just a concussion that he was ready to go right away. As soon as the game was ended, you know what I'm saying, he hit Twitter and said, I'm good, or he said good or something like that. But Jerry Jacobs healthy. Josh Pascal healthy, Jeff Okuda healthy. You guys remember how like the offensive line looked uncharacteristically like kind of bad last week against the Buffalo Bills, who have a good front four? Well, we were missing two of our starting guards. Jonah Jackson's back, which I'm assuming would put Dan Skipper back at the other point guard. I'm sorry, back at the other guard spot. Frank Ragnow's obviously playing, and I think one thing too. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna criticize any player that deserves criticism, but I'm gonna spare him of any criticism throughout this year. One, he's obviously been playing phenomenal. Two, this dude's been in a walking boot all year since coming back from that foot injury. Frank Ragnall's a dog. Offensive line healthy. Jared Goff, whatever. But I know what you guys want to talk about. You clicked on the thumbnail, and it's Jameson Williams. Listen, my opinion of the matter, which I've already actually heard this from me in Rapport, but I think we should assume this anyway because he wasn't even technically supposed to play today. Romeo Okwara activated for today as well. He once had 10 sacks with Detroit Lions, so he's got a big fat contract. He's a $10 million cap hit next year, I do believe, where we can save $10 million from cutting him. He's active today as well, too. But Jameson Williams, in limited action today, but still active. I don't know how it works for defensive coordinators when they a rookie of that caliber is put on the field. Just because at the same point they are a rookie, right? So I don't know if you want to give them respect of like a Tyreek Hill or names like that because it's very much an prove it standpoint. But like it takes one catch, one big play to the defensive coordinator, and it got to be the DBs too because everyone knows this guy's fast. That's come on. I mean, he got hurt in the national championship game, Alabama versus Georgia. Alabama was getting cooked by Georgia. The only bright spot on the Alabama offense up until the injury was Jameson Williams. They know this dude's skilled. Takes one play. He's fucking them all up. And don't forget about Amon-Ra St. Brown. Again, he's a limited faction, so it is what it is. But beyond that, guys, like the Lions are winning today. I've never been more confident in a win. I know that once upon a time, live on air, I guaranteed a win against the Philadelphia Eagles, which they were one-score game, really close, came down to the final seconds of the fourth quarter, and a questionable first down by the Philadelphia Eagles. But we know how the refs do us. We know how that goes. But I was kind of like peer pressured in that one because Spinney was trying to tell me we're getting fucking whacked by the Eagles. I'm like, chill, bro. Like, chill. That's not going to be the case. And it wasn't. We're trading the first pick plus back to Detroit for Donald. Be a good move if Stafford retires, fix our D, and then George Vasquez. Oh man, it's hard. I mean, I don't think they would trade Aaron Donald if I'm being honest with you. But another point too I'd make is like uh, I can't guarantee you that Aaron Donald's one of the best football players of all time. But Jalen Carter looks damn nice, and when you get him on a rookie deal, I would almost rather keep the pick, to be honest with you. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I appreciate you. I will keep my eye on the road. JGB. Hey, if you want, I can switch shit to like a Twitter space, and actually people could join too. Let me know if I should do that. But beyond Jameson Williams coming back, because again, guys, that's going to be a limited action. All right. But beyond that, you have DJ Chark, his second game back from injury. Again, on an extra rest because the Detroit Lions played on Thursday. So essentially, it was like Sunday was kind of like a bye week for him. DJ Chark is back. Josh Reynolds is back. You guys know Jared Goff and Josh Reynolds. Say what you want. Josh Reynolds and Jared Goff have pretty good chemistry. DJ Chark, I expect to be better than he was last week. I mean, that was already conversation that was being had this week too. Maybe that's something they always have to say either way. But look, bro, I I did an alternate spread. I did the Detroit Lions minus 2.5. It feels like that. I mean, you can say what you want about the records. These teams are very similar, and I'm not disrespecting the Jacksonville Jaguars at all. But it's been a new Detroit Lions team since the firing of Aubrey Pleasant and the players only meeting, and that's undeniable. And it's been consistent too. It's not like it happened and then like a couple bad games, good game. No, they've been consistently competitive ever since. As a matter of fact, they went on a 3-game win streak. 2 of those games were on the road. One of them gets a team above 500 on the road in the New York Giants. And then the Thanksgiving game where we were supposed to get fucking schwacked. It didn't happen. It didn't happen because this team is woken up. They've woken up. The younger players on defense have gotten better. As I told you guys all season, a lot of people were in a rush to fire Aaron Glenn. A lot of people were in a rush to fire Dan Campbell without looking at the facts of the matter. Now, I feel like Detroit Lions form when I say those kind of things, but those are actual facts. Those aren't like these like rinky-dink advanced analytics I'm pulling on my ass. That's the real deal. Carter and McNeil going to be crazy. I agree, 0-16. It's going to be wild. I think people are sleeping on what Aleem McNeil's become this year, too. From the New York Giants game on, there's only been 2 games. But he's looked phenomenal. Let's be real about it. He looks phenomenal. But this defense looked ugly in the beginning. But remember, this is the youngest team in the league. When the year started, it was the second youngest team. We are now officially the youngest team in the league that we bring in that 53-man roster. All right, that defense getting better because they're learning the game. This is only Kirby Joseph's second year ever in his life playing the safety position. He is naturally, some people like, so I watch a lot of MMA. I also shout out to Kevin Holland and Stephen Thompson from last night. But some people, you learn, like some people are just naturally gifted at athletics. They have quick twitch muscles. They have great timing. Like they just read the moment differently. And I feel like a lot of people have like different skill sets. Some people's skill sets are talking. Some people's skill sets are like athletics. Like some people's skill sets are electronics. Like it truly is like that way. We have that. We have that in Kirby Joseph. This is only his second year playing the position, and he's among the leaders in turnovers. You know what I'm saying? Uh, he's coming along though too as the season's progressed. Obviously, you saw that Seattle game; they put up a shit ton of points. It was really ugly. But since then, a couple drop turnovers, a couple drop interceptions he had against Dallas. We had that helicopter forced fumble, which was like, holy shit! This guy used to play receiver and he's hitting like that. That's insane. Obviously Jeff Okuda's emerged this year. He's technically too. If you want to think about Jeff Okuda, yeah, it's technically his 3rd year, but this is really his 2nd season ever being active playing the game of football. I'm sorry, at the NFL. So this is really like his sophomore season. If we're being real about it. He's young. I just said from the New York Giants game on, he's like longer than it took Jeff Okuda, the defensive end, Brandon Graham over in Philadelphia. So it's I am a questionable of our medical staff, but he's coming back. With the young defense, smarter. Malcolm Rodriguez getting better. Oh, my bad. I lost service. I don't know what the hell is happening. I apologize. If I'm back, I'm back. But we're talking about the young defense getting better throughout the year, and obviously it's shown from the firing of Aubrey Pleasant to the player being the player only meeting. But I was going off Malcolm Rodriguez, Kirby Joseph, Jeff Okuda was still an experience, Lee McNeil was still an experience, Aiden Hutchinson. How the hell did I forget the year, guys? night and day. And part of it is due to him. He's the one that went to, AG. He was like, yo, look, I feel like I can see the game better if I'm out of that 2-point stance. The concern with the Detroit Lions was like, well, the rest of the defense has to fall in line with that change, because we don't know if you can play just as effectively in the run. Newsflash, he does. You still see him out there in that 3-point stance. Aiden's coming along as the season's gone. And here's another thing, too. I saw someone post on Twitter last night kind of dogging Brad Holmes and these defensive lineman picks. Dude's 3 or 4. How can he dog those picks? Lee McNeil's come on late. Levi be the one dud. Aiden's come on late. I'm going to throw James Houston in there. And oh my God, did I forget about Josh Pascal too? Josh Pascal's another guy. Josh Pascal didn't even have a camp this year. Came in, and from like a film perspective, balling. There's certain things that, as a heavyweight, as you watch this on the Heavyweights channel, certain things that defensive linemen do to affect the game that will never show up on a box score. You can see it in advanced analytics. That's actually the only advanced analytic that I like gives a little bit of credit to, outside of obviously like athletic measurements like 40 times and stuff like that. But defensive linemen, if you check out stuff like quarterback pressures, hurries, like that stuff goes into factor. A perfect example, right? Aiden Hutchinson on the pick 6 for Jeff Okudah. Aiden Hutchinson, the box score, has nothing to show up for that. But if you guys remember correctly, Aiden Hutchinson was the one who analyzed the screen, took a step back, blindly covered whoever the hell was supposed to catch that screen. I don't know if it was one of the tight ends or running backs. And then Justin Fields then just tosses the ball up, and obviously Jeff Okudah makes a play on it. Another situation too, Aiden Hutchinson, nothing in the box score last week against the Buffalo Bills. However, if you watch back that second James Houston sack, it was Aiden Hutchinson who flushed him out of the pocket. Aiden Hutchinson actually flushed him out of the pocket quite a few times. The only problem was, Josh Allen is the leading rusher for the Buffalo Bills on the season. So that is an issue at times. But I think that's something we're going to get fixed throughout the process. Oh, my God, another young guy's gotten better, Derek Barnes. Like, this defense is truly taking a turnaround. And today, it got a lot healthier. This week, they've had some extra time to prep. They're also hungry. All right, this is a graphic game for both teams. Don't get me wrong, the Jacksonville Jaguars are hungry, and they got some pieces too that could be deadly and dangerous. But a home field advantage, coming off of a loss against a team that you really weren't supposed to compete against. So like, they had the taste of like, damn, we lost a close one, on top of the reward, or I guess the reminder that, damn, like we almost beat a Super Bowl contending team. You know what I'm saying? Like, it feels good, bro, to have some faith in this team. And it's not even faith from like, and honest with you guys, like 7 wins was like the realistic expectations for these teams. Vegas set them at 6.5. So it does feel good that bet might hit. That definitely feels good. But it feels good that to have some faith restored in this regime. To be honest with you, I never lost faith on the defensive side of the ball. I've seen the potential of that from the go. I've always been defending Glenn. I mean, if you guys watch the Woodward Heavyweights live from 5 to 7 on Woodward Sports, that was my MO. Even back with the defense was getting shredded, people wanted to fire AG. But again, you got to look at the context of a lot of these situations. It's so easy to compare like records or like, oh, look at the Jets and Giants and what they're doing. But you also forget the Jets and Giants. Jets have 3 first-round picks and a quarterback on a rookie deal. So guess what they did in this free agency? They grabbed Quan Alexander. They re-upped Q Williams. I mean, they grabbed some guys, former Pro Bowl guys. We don't even have, put it to you this way, Lee McNeil's coming along nicely, right? I don't even think he has a vet. He hasn't had a vet to show him the ropes. Who was it, John Pennicini? Like, we don't have that. We haven't had the luxury of that. You know what I'm saying? And people can say that doesn't mean anything. Some guys come into the game and they spark right away. It does mean something. It truly does. I don't know if you guys remember the relationship with Rasheed Mathis and Darius Slay, but Brockers. All right, that might fit. I'm gonna keep it a buck about Brockers though. I mean, come on, not a, but it's better than nothing. That's fair. Brockers would be his vet, and maybe that's why we're seeing him start to make a turn. But like, let's be real about Brockers too. Like, the one vet on this team. At least in the starting rotation, is probably Alex Anzalone, who himself is a career backup too. Oh man, if we get Jalen Carter, by the way. I took a nap yesterday. I didn't get to watch that full game. Obviously, I saw a play where Jalen Carter picks up LSU's quarterback in celebration of a win. And I'm all for like Will Anderson Jr. as well too. Like don't get me messed up, but as a Detroit Lions fan, as a heavyweight, I'm starting to lean a little bit more towards Jalen Carter, especially if Aiden Hutchins is going to be what Aiden Hutchins is supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, exactly, JGB. It's like these youngins are teaching themselves. They are. I mean, and thank God we have. I mean, obviously coaching staff too, but we have a little bit of the former player coaches helping them out with that stuff, that situation as well. Like Kelvin Shepard is like I mean, he just played what, like 2 years ago? You know what I'm saying? I've had conversations with GQ, Glover Quinn, and I asked him before the season even started, like, is that for sure a good thing to have like former player coaches? And he was like, it is and it isn't because the game changes from like when those guys play. You know what I'm saying? They can tell you to do certain things, but the game's not called the same way. Example, AG was a Pro Bowl DB, and he wants to get back to being physical at the line. But if we're being truthful about the game today, that's just not what this is not what the NFL, that's not the direction the NFL is trying to go. I still think he's smart schematically. I still think he's part of the success of the New Orleans Saints defense and learned a lot there. If not, um, but you just can't be like that physical at the line of scrimmage with these receivers because betting is legal now. Fantasy football is a thing now. You know what I'm saying that people want big numbers. People want nonstop scoring games. They want you to be like, oh my God, you see that? Oh, did you watch that game last night? It was crazy. Which I get it. They're exciting. Me personally, I've always been this way. I don't mind a defensive like just slugger fest, bro. I appreciate it as long as like plays are being made. I don't. There's a difference between a good defensive game and a shitty offensive one, if that makes sense. Like sometimes you see those low scoring games, but it'll be like two bad quarterbacks. It'd be like the Colts versus the Broncos. Like that's not a good defensive game in my opinion. Yeah, some defensive plays are made, but those two shitty quarterbacks doing shitty quarterback things, in my opinion. Russell Wilson's fallen from grace so hard. But the main point being, guys, I really truly believe the Detroit Lions can stomp an absolute mud hole in the asshole of the Jacksonville Jaguars today, baby. I took the spread -2.5 alternate spread. Don't hit it, don't hit. You know what I'm saying? DeAndre Swift 19.5 over under for rushing yards. Joey 2 times. I don't know if you're still in the chat. I'm curious what you think about that one because I know you like to bet a little bit too. But I think that's definitely worth the risk, man. DeAndre Swift some extra rest. Um, I mean, he's a guy that's prone to take off anytime. And I think he's heard a little bit of like the backlash. Like, I love Flannel Sam, man. I love Spence quite clearly. You guys know that's my boys. Those are my boys. Um, but the disrespect to DeAndre Swift 2 weeks ago, I wasn't having it. Obviously the dude's banged up, but he's quite productive when he does get in, when he's able to play consistently. So like people are like, oh, bench him. What's the point of even having him? Like that's just silly to me. That's just silly to me. He had a game actually against the Thanksgiving game against the Bills. That you could have called a touchdown. Obviously, his knee was down technically, but there's no. I I swear we've seen stuff like that before, but only Detroit Lions are a team that actually have that stuff reviewed and turned around on them. Like if you go back after I end this stream or get to where I'm going, and you want to watch the game-winning touchdown catch from Marvin Jones, former Detroit Lion himself, from Trevor Lawrence, he was not out of bounds. He didn't get 2 feet down. He got 1 foot down and his knee went out of bounds. I don't even like that wasn't. But obviously the review process, I don't know if they even wanted it. They just wanted the excitement of saying that their number one overall pick, Trevor Lawrence, is like a hot commodity to pay attention to going in against this guy. I mean, I don't really know, but like that to me should have been a touchdown. You guys can watch it back yourselves after the fact. Honestly, reach out to me on Twitter. Let me know what you think. I thought that was crazy because like I see stuff like that happen, obviously, and then DeAndre Swift's fucking touchdown was just called back from scraping his knee, no contact, which is cool, whatever, you know. It's like young as well. Swift misses just as many games as all of the running backs. JGB, that is a fact that a lot of people miss. But I will give some credit to like the Swift haters in this. Um, yes, he misses just as equally as much games as other running backs. But what happens with Swift is he's hindered throughout the season, like in the games he plays. An example this year, right? And honestly, this year more than any other year, he's limited. He's limited because the ankle's messed up, the shoulder's messed up, and don't forget the shoulder's what held him out last year too. So something really may be alarming about that shoulder injury, but he's trying to dig deep, find that Georgia dog in him to play through it. But I will give credit to that part of the argument for the DeAndre Swift haters, which honestly they failed to even mention that because you could totally just slap that in their face and shit on him. But at that point, then it makes it look like he's not producing like he can produce, and the reason is because He's not 100% healthy in the limited snaps that he does have. But other games around the way, thinking off the top of my head. Matter of fact, no, let's talk a little bit about Romeo Clark. Maybe I should do a Twitter space so you guys can join. We have a coaching staff who caters to our players. That could be holding him back for sure. Holding him back for this late push. Yeah, I mean, Deuce Staley spoke with the media like 2 days back. I think it was either Friday or Thursday, and he has said that he thinks Swift is like the healthiest he's been since obviously getting the shoulder injury re-aggravated. So I think today we're gonna find out. And by the way, too, Travis Etienne, he had a higher guaranteed or anytime touchdown odds than Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams leads the league in rushing touchdowns. Like I don't even know how that's even a thing, or whatever. He's also coming back off a foot injury. Yeah, the only way I could see the Jacksonville Jaguars beating this Detroit Lions team is if Trevor Lawrence carries that swag he had in the fourth quarter of last game into this game. Because I'm not going to lie to you guys. My man he threw 174 yards in that fourth quarter to come back for that touchdown. I'm sorry, come back for that game, beat the Baltimore Ravens. And I mean, that's pretty impressive. He looked like a number one overall pick. He can run. That's the other thing I'm concerned about too, is like he can run, but on the season, he's only averaging like 16 yards per carry. I'm sorry, per game. 16 yards per carry would be insane. I apologize for that. 16 rushing yards per game. So he's not prone to run. He is a pretty boy, so maybe he don't like getting hit. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But that he can obviously beat us if he decides to run. If he decides to run on the ground, that's a little bit concerning. But there's another little piece of the puzzle to this defensive Detroit Lions defense I didn't even get to mention. I forgot to mention just now was Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson, if you watch his press conferences throughout the year, have been boring as shit. Vanilla as hell. Bland. And I'm not dissing him. He's just playing. He's playing it smart. Some people like hater their brand. I like the crazy dudes, but that's the brand I care about because that's the video I'm always clicking about. I'm clicking on, right? I want to hear you say some crazy, funny shit. But Aiden Hutchinson, uncharacteristically this week, was speaking with Tim Twentyman, and he's like, "Yeah, this game was, the draft is kind of in the back of my head in this game because you guys obviously know that he was projected to be the number one overall pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars, but instead they elected to go with Trayvon Walker over him." Now, this is a guy, again, who's been pretty humble, quiet. Even when I asked him about the Michigan State game, he's like, I don't really want to speak on it. But 20 minutes asked him about the draft situation with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was like, yeah, that is in the back of my head. So you got a little extra. I'm not one to buy into this stuff too much because I feel like as competitors, they're always giving it their all. But maybe they think about it more throughout the week when there's situations like this. Maybe it does make them a little bit more hungry. And like when they want to get tired, they think about that. Like, fuck that shit. Fuck these guys. They really thought that kid was better than me. Fuck that. And then maybe there's a little bit of that in Aiden Hutchinson. And like I know he seems like Mr. Nice Guy. I don't know if you guys remember during Hard Knocks. It's a preseason game, obviously. But I think it was game one actually against the Falcons. And there was somebody like trying to continue to block Aiden. This was actually Crickler after the play. And Aiden hit him with "get the fuck off me" with an F. You know what I'm saying? Like you never thought that would come out of the kid's mouth. The kid's got some dog in him, quite clearly. I don't want people to sleep on that. I know he's white, right? But like he's got some dog in him. I mean, he was a number 2 overall pick in the draft. He played a phenomenal at a great school at Michigan. I'm sorry, I don't want to say great school, although they are back-to-back Big Ten champions. Congratulations, Jim Harbaugh and the boys on that one. But that's a traditional like blue chip school. You know what I'm saying? Where like the records that he broke last year should be they're impressive. Like think about how long Michigan's been around, how long Michigan was perceived as good before they started letting black people play in the South. I'm just kidding. Actually, Michigan State was the first school to integrate black. If you guys knew that, my boy is actually gonna be starring in that movie. Oh, I just read that comment, guys. Real quick, I actually gotta put in the address to Ford Field. Hold on 1 second. All right, I'm back. If you dipped, I apologize. But the only thing that's gonna scare me from losing this game, there's 2 things actually. I'll give it this. Trevor Lawrence has come into his own. Jared Goff, they asked him this week, it may have been 10-20 minutes as well, but he was like, how long did it take you to get into the role of being QB1, of being a starting quarterback in this league? And he said, it's probably around my 24th start. Trevor Lawrence is heading into this game at his 28th or 29th start, I want to say. And quite clearly last week, he found a little bit of that moxie. So that is that is one way. Obviously the Detroit Lions could lose if he gets in that groove and he starts shutting up this defense. Now the defense could be as improved as I truly believe it is, but Trevor Lawrence he's the best quarterback prospect to come out in my lifetime. Honestly, if I'm thinking about it, quarterbacks are hard to hit. I mean, quarterback's going to be, but Trevor Lawrence looked like the real deal Holyfield coming into this draft class. Dude could run. Dude was big, had a cannon, was accurate. He had a championship pedigree. He literally had it all. But he can get in the groove and he can start busting our ass. Him and Christian Kirk obviously have a great chemistry throughout the season. I know that because I have both of them on fantasy and I'm number one in my league. No big deal. No big deal. The other concern is I swear to God, you guys, I'm not a hater, but Jared Goff is what Jared Goff is. All right, if we're keeping a buck about it, the Jacksonville Jaguars have been what they have historically been too, which is like not great. Uh, if they get the whooping on that defense, I think I should take this exit. Hold on. All right, my bad. I was correct in taking this exit. I'm gonna end it after this though, because I think Wilbur Sports is live too. Maybe I'll start Twitter Space. You guys let me know. But the Jacksonville Jaguars defense, they've been just as shitty as us. As like historically, I'm talking about. So they've had like a bunch of early picks. So there's a ton of athletes on that side of the field. Devin Lloyd, Chad Muma, I think they have two. Trayvon Walker, he's not just an edge rusher. Plays well against the run, back up in the coverage at times. They have guys that can make plays on a shitty thrown by Jared Goff, which he's prone to do, but he's been pretty good as of late. I hope he continues that. And I got to get going. I really do appreciate you guys rocking me, whoever joined this. Hit that like button. I'm going to be downtown interviewing guys. I mean, if you want to find me, I'm in my camo. All right, I'm going to have my Detroit Lions blue hat. But I'll see you guys. One pride. Take that over. I mean, if you want. DeAndre Swift, 19.5 rushing yards. Detroit Lions, take it all to the spread, 2.5. There's 3 points. And I'm out. I appreciate you guys.